Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Random Encounters Guild. We've got something special going tonight. What was on the schedule was Kinless, but we are starting a campaign. It's a three-part campaign. It's called the Chronicle of the Copper Crown in Symbaroum, which is one of my favorite settings and games. Literally the only complaint I have with this game is that the GM doesn't roll. The players roll everything, even the defense rolls when something attacks them. Which, if I remember right, that's how Mort Borg is as well. I think. I might have been fudging Mort Borg so that I could roll. And I may do that here as well, because I'm going to miss rolling dice. But, so yeah, we will get back to Kinless. Kinless is going to be a filler. It's going to be when we can't stream this or Alien, which is coming up. I'll fill in with Kinless. Hey Maya, how you doing, buddy? But this will stream on Monday nights. Starting out every other week. We haven't set a start date. I don't know if it's a week from tomorrow night or 2 weeks from tomorrow night, but this is going to be on Monday nights every other week, and then Alien is going to be on Sunday nights every week. But then if for some reason somebody has to cancel, I'll run Kinless. But yeah, this is long been one of my favorite settings and favorite games. I've ran the starter set in Cinematex a couple of years ago, and it was a lot of fun. It's a very different game. It's not like D&D. You want to roll low. You want to roll below what your number is, and the setting is the best description I've heard of the setting is whereas some games have these massive maps, it's a big, huge pool to play in, but it's only 6 inches deep. This is a small kiddie pool, but it's 6 miles deep. Like the setting and story behind this is just layer upon layer upon layer. But it's a small section of map. It's not a big, huge world to play in. It's just this small little area with these groups of people who all don't like each other. So in a way, it's like Game of Thrones or The Expanse, but it's just contained in this small little area around this forest called Davokar. But we can we'll start going into story and stuff here in a little bit. Tonight is going to be a session 0. We're going to get characters loaded in. I believe my players have at least a basis for their characters. They may not have done all the stat buy and everything yet, or they may have. I don't know. But we're also I've been using Alchemy VTT for Kinless, and I've really enjoyed it. So we decided to try it with Symbaroum, just if nothing else for the visuals. You can see our background here is the streamer mode of Alchemy, and it's worked out really well. So we're going to try it, and if we don't like it, we'll jump to Fantasy Grounds because we have Symbaroum in Fantasy Grounds as well. But before we get started with all of that, everybody needs to run around and introduce themselves. I am Guildmaster Scott. I started the Random Encounters Guild several years ago now as a means to play a bunch of new games with a bunch of new people, and it's been what started as a group of 6 friends from high school has turned into a small community, and we like playing games, and we enjoy talking about games in the chat and everything. So if you would like to join us, speaking of that, there's a link to our Discord server. If you want to try some new games with some new people, by all means, join us. All games are open to anybody who wants to play. I will be your game master this evening and for the foreseeable future. So that is my role. Kevin, who is a longtime member of the guild and my writing partner and kind of my right hand, he is going to join us, but he is running late a little bit this evening. So I will have to plug him into OBS here shortly when he arrives. But other than that, let's go to Avery.
Howdy, I'm Davery. I've been a member of the guild for a couple years now, playing off and on. Had a lot of fun with this, and have several decades worth of experience in role playing, but have never played Symbaroum before. So I own the book, have read the book, but have never actually, put dice to dice tray, as it were. So I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, that's what we talked about it in chat. That I've put off buying the books for so long. I've wanted them for forever because once you buy this book, you're going to want to buy the entire library. These books are gorgeous. Everything about these books is amazing. And the starter set is fantastic as well. It's very well laid out and very well designed. Tim.
Yeah, I'm Tim, longtime member of the guild. I guess back at the very beginning of it, one of those friends that started playing years ago. I actually had the chance to sit in on the Cinematex game with Symbaroum and just fell in love with the setting. And I'm really looking forward to getting to explore it a lot more fully.
And Chad, say hello. You're muted.
Sorry, no, I'm not muted. I'm getting a little bit of lag, it looks like.
Oh.
So I'm Chad. I've been with the guild for a couple of years as well. Davery actually brought me along. Regularly seen me stream a couple of times on this channel with Scott and whatnot. I have actually played Symbaroum before, albeit like twice, and it's been many, many years. So functionally, I may as well not have played it, but I do like the setting. Same as the other guys. I've got the books. I do really like the setting, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we can get into.
Yep. And just for clarity, just to put it out there, this is not the 5e version. This is not Ruins of Symbaroum. This is Symbaroum, the original game, the original rules. They did release the setting for 5e, much like they did with the One Ring. I'm still unsure why they chose to do that, but they did.
It starts with M, it ends in money, in unny.
They didn't reply to my emails concerning the matter, so so do we want to talk about the setting, or do we want to just go ahead and do characters and then do setting once Kevin joins us?
I mean, if we talk about the setting, that gives Kevin a few minutes to join us, but I'm good either way.
And we kind of touch on it to it'll maybe explain why we make the choices we did with what characters we've created.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons we've never done a Session Zero live on the guild before, because personally I'm not a fan of them being live. But with this game, you want the players to be like, you're going to have to be a team. If you guys don't have 4 pieces of a puzzle that fit together, this is going to be a very, very short campaign. So that may change once we're doing this, once we're going into characters and talking about stats and everything. That may change what you had originally planned to do tonight. Like if it was me playing this, I would create a magic user tank with ranged attacks. I don't know how I would do that, but that's what I would go for.
I think cheating is the
Because
answer.
that's the only way you're going to survive. But even using magic in this game is not like it's required, it's needed. Somebody needs to be a magic user, but it's also dangerous. You're going to have corruption. You're going to have to deal with that every time you cast a spell. There's a chance you're going to get corruption. You have to deal with, cleansing it. But so tonight wound up being the best night for everybody to get together to do their characters, and I thought, well, let's go ahead and stream it. That way it's up on YouTube, and if we need to go back to it, we'll have it saved on YouTube, and should be good there. So all right, so setting wise, this is as I said, this is a small section of land. There's a large dark forest called Davokar, and then there's plains, and then there's a mountain range called the Titans, and then there's to the south. And in the south of the Titans is where this story begins. There was a great war. The hungry hordes of the Dark Lords, a nightmare that lasted for 2 decades, and which left little to hearten those who finally woke up. Instead, they had all of the reasons to grieve. Tens of thousands had died. The maimed and broken were beyond count. The land was ravaged by death magic. There was famine and infertility, and even though the young Queen Corinthia had been rescued from the claws of the enemy, she had returned a shadow of her former self, with a lifeless mask covering her once radiant sunshine smile. 21 years had passed since the Dark Lords were vanquished, and the Queen realized that her realm was dying. She was forced to lead her people to safer grounds. That much was evident, and before long she was able to identify where to start anew. North of the mountain range called the Titans lay the fertile soils which, according to legend, were the ancestral home of her people. The time had come for Corinthia to claim her birthright. During the past couple of centuries, the region up north has been controlled by warring barbarian clans, and before that by the prosperous city-state of Lindaros. According to legend, Lindaros suffered the wrath of celestial powers, causing a most infectious bleeder's disease to wipe out its entire population. This occurred about 200 years ago, after which it took more than a century before the nomadic clans of the region dared approach the contaminated ruins. No more than a couple of months after the decisive battle against the Dark Lords, Corinthia's troops reached the region in the north. At the Lindaros's ruins, they encountered a small barbarian settlement established by the clan Cadiz that had been evicted from its territory in Davokar 50 years earlier. After a siege that lasted only 3 days, the barbarian chieftain bowed before the superior power, and the work of rebuilding Lindaros could commence. A task that mainly was carried out by thousands of prisoners of war and as many so-called volunteers, men and women who were on the run from already dead regions in the old Alberator, which Alberator is the land south of the Titans. The Queen did not join the refugees until 7 years after the war's end. When she did, she declared that the new realm would be called Ambria, the Shining, and the increasingly well-organized capital was to be named Yenderos, in honor of Corinthia's father, the hero king Yender. 3 years after the Queen's armies also managed to overwhelm the barbarian warlord Halaban and his clan warriors, a triumph giving Corinthia and her people the opportunity to start exploring and harvesting the ample riches of the Davokar forest. Much has happened over a short period of time, so there's been no room for subtleties. Disobedient barbarians have been killed, banished, or imprisoned by Corinthia's experienced and well-equipped soldiers. The obedient ones have been used for labor under slave-like conditions. The latter also holds true for many of Corinthia's own subjects, namely, all those who come from the south without personal riches are sought after skills. If anyone bothered to keep count of how many people have died in the process of building Ambria, the final score would be in the thousands. But no one does. To those who are alive, nothing counts but the remarkable result. Although the restoration of Yenderos is far from finished, the city has grown to enormous proportions, and at the same time, Corinthia's knights have conquered all land between the mountain and the south of the woods in the north. Now the nobles of Umbria are starting to plan for new conquest in the north and in the west. 7 years ago, the uncrowned king of Umbria's treasure hunters, Lassifor Nightpitch, established the town of Thistlehold. The construction was largely financed by the reward Lassifor had received for an armful of dried twilight thistle, a rare herb allegedly powerful enough to aid the gravely ill Abyssinia, mother of Queen Corinthia. Ever since then, the walled settlement of Mayor Nightpitch has acted as a safe haven for Ambrians exploring Davokar, a forest full of natural resources and rich remnants of long-lost civilizations. Also, a forest full of rampant abominations, dark-minded creatures of otherworldly origins, and a band of wardens most unwilling to welcome the damages done by human explorers. And those wardens are the elves in this setting. The elves are not the Tolkien elves. They're not the nice, friendly, reading moon letters elves. They are the guardians of the forest. And if you come into the forest and take something or touch something that is tainted, they just kill you. It's the rule. There's an iron pact that was signed years ago, and if it is broken, the sentence is death. No questions asked. They will hunt you down and kill you. So
it's not. I was gonna say, it's
Go
not just years ago, right? It was like centuries ago. Like almost nobody except the elves clearly remember what it says.
Yeah. And we can go deeper into that. I mean, and so what we're looking at here is there's a region. Let me get to. So there's this huge, there's this large mountain range. Where we're starting is in Alberator to the south. That's where all of our players are at currently. They are trying to make their way north. So there's. I'm sorry. Let me see if I can find a good map to. Oh, here we go. So there's Alberator to the south, and then you go, and that is the land that has been raised, and it is just black. Nothing grows. The food is gone. The animals are dying for lack of food. Then there's the mountain range called the Titans. And once through the Titans, you can see the city of Yenderos, which was built by Corinthia and her people. Northwest of that is Thistlehold. And Thistlehold sits on the edge of the forest of Davokar. And literally the entire northern region is this massive dark forest that there's been a few places mapped out within the forest, but for the most part it's not 9 times out of 10, when somebody goes into Davokar, they don't come back out. Like it's brave souls go in and have there like I said, there's a few places that have been mapped, but for the most part, it's just a mystery. But there's a couple of smaller settlements starting up, and like I said, the Ambrians are getting braver now that they've kind of conquered a couple of these barbarian clans and put them to work. Now they're trying to they're starting to look to the north, further north, and to the west. It says Carrying Crown? Sorry, I just saw that. I must have missed that, sorry. It does. That stinks. Sorry about that, everybody. This is called the Copper Crown. I might have called it the Carrying Crown. Carrying Crew is our Blades in the Dark game. Which is on Tuesday nights, by the way. We have a lot of fun with that. But so that's kind of the setting without going too deep. Like, of course, this book has pages and pages on Genderos and pages on Thistlehold. Like, there's so much depth to every single location in this, but your characters don't know all of that depth. They just know they have to get out of Alberator. So, you know, what I just gave you is kind of the history of the region, and that's what you would know pretty much. Like, you don't know what you're going to be walking into once you get across the Titans, if you get across the Titans. So, with that being said, let's discuss what you have in mind for your characters. And with alchemy, like, you may, I don't know if it will let you do it once you're in the game. You might have to exit the game, and because when you sign in, it tells you, you know, it gives you the option to pick an existing character or create a new character. But you may be able to if you click on your character there on the right, and then menu will open up on the bottom, you'll see view, and that will open up your character sheet. And up at the very top, there's a wrench. If you click on that, it will let you edit it. And you get to pick your occupation and do all the traits and everything.
I am seeing none of that. I click on my name and I get away or status.
You don't have a circle at the bottom of the screen?
I have one that looks like I will leave alchemy if I choose it. Just a circle with an X in the middle.
No, it should like have a diamond and brings up the dice. Okay, so
okay, wait. Okay, yeah, all right. If I hit,
so yeah,
if
right.
if I double tap, I get that.
Yeah. So if you click on your character, it should open a menu that has your token. It should say view, trackers, token, play, status. You don't see any of that? Like if you click on your name up in the right.
Yeah, I have my name. Yeah, hide help, Zen mode, X card, safety tools, gameplay settings.
Okay, well, here's what I'm going to say. Leave the game.
Fine.
And then come back, because when you sign, and the game will now be in your library. So when you click on the game, it will open a menu, and you can either choose an existing character, which there aren't any, or it'll say create a new character, and that will open up the character sheet. And just that'll start you from scratch. And keep in mind, I don't know that I'll be able to see what you're doing as you're doing it. So we're just gonna have to talk it out.
All right. Join game. Create character. Okay.
There you
Run
go.
business.
Hey, Kevin has joined us. They can't hear you yet, Kevin.
We can.
We can hear you, but nobody else can. I have to get you into OBS.
Yes, no.
What he said.
Hey, Jenna. Thanks for joining us. All right, let me all right, somebody start like what Davery, what have you got in mind for your character?
Okay, so despite the fact that you said we were coming out of Ambria, I am going to take you at face value when you said it was no problem to play a barbarian character.
If you've got a reason for being there, like I said, we got to work it out story-wise, but yeah, I ain't got no problem with it.
All right, so yes, I am playing Torvar. I am one of the barbarians who's been in Ambria his whole life. When he was a child, his village was sacked by dirty Ambrians, and he was injured. And in turn, after his injuries, he was given over to like the witches and taught herbs and alchemy and all of those different potions and whatnot. And so that's what he has done most of his life. And for a long time was very angry towards the Ambrians, but has recently embraced the idea of when you seek revenge, you must first dig 2 graves. And so he is trying to be cooler with the people he knows logically are not responsible for his injuries. So he is actively trying to interact with the people of Ambria nicely, not always successfully. And if he ever finds the people who actually did sack his village, all bets are off.
And so why are you in Alberator trying to get your way back north? What brought you south?
So we are going to be in the Titans, or are we going to be in Alberator?
You're starting in Alberator trying to get across the Titans.
Okay. And am I correct? We are using boons and burdens?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Because that was one of my reasons. I was going to pick up the boon that lets him, because he's got alchemy, like I said, he's got alchemy, he's got medicus, because every group needs a healer. And so I was going to pick up the boon that lets him know alchemy recipes outside of his tradition. And so basically that's the idea. Is he was down south stealing recipes, stealing knowledge. He figures they owe him.
Okay. And so, like, just so we're all on the same page, where this starts, like, it's the beginning of winter, and the pass through the Titans is about to be snowed in. Most of the caravans are locking down. We're not making any more trips. But there's one guy that says he can make it. And there's spots open on his caravan. And you guys are trying to get onto his caravan to get across instead of waiting out the winter. So that's at least this first chapter, that is the premise, is you're just trying to get north. You've got to get out of Alberator, and you would rather do it now and risk it than wait out the winter and do it when spring comes. So yeah, that kind of makes sense. You were in Alberator looking, doing research and stuff, and now you just got to get back north. So you don't necessarily have any ties to anybody in the group.
I'm sorry, I was speaking. I didn't hear what you said.
you don't necessarily have any ties to anybody in the group.
I don't know who anyone else in the group is, so I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, we can. This is all in flux. Nothing is set in stone until we've settled all this. So, let's go to Chad. What have you got in mind?
Well, I may have to pivot, but this may dovetail nicely with Davery's character, actually. So my thought, and part of my may have to pivot, as I was intending to play a hunter, which does not appear to be an alchemy. It's from the Advanced Player's Guide. It's the additional.
It should be. The Advanced Player's Guide is in there.
It's not available.
It's not. Yeah, my one isn't in there either. And I'm from the Advanced Player's Guide.
But so while you're fiddling with that, so my intention was actually to somewhat similar to Davery, except rather than being a barbarian, my intention was to play an abducted human. Which is to say, for those following along at home, the elves, in true Fae fashion, kidnap humans and leave changelings in their place. Said humans are then essentially used as foot soldiers in Davokar. My character, the thought is the character was the last surviving member of his group, and rather than go back to the elves, decided to make his way south and has been helping people get back and forth over the mountains, essentially acting as somewhat as a guide.
Okay, so maybe you've made this trip like with Davery's character, brought him south.
Yeah, potentially, as my character was most likely prior to being kidnapped, was a barbarian, born to barbarians. Probably made his way south with Davery's character as a way of kind of getting out of Davokar for a while.
which would work great, because my character, I think all barbarians start with survival skills, but it doesn't change the fact that he's never been south. He doesn't know the area at all. He just knows how to live in the woods. So having a guide would be hugely helpful.
Yeah, I imagine my character has not gone far into Ambria, but he's sort of establishing a new life, helping refugees and whatnot across the mountain, as he has no particular attachment to the barbarian tribes of Davokar either.
Forgive me, I don't know if me quitting the game is going to mess you guys up, but I'm trying to figure. I know the Advanced Player's Guide is in here. I just don't understand why you don't have access to it.
Maybe there's like a sources setting or something like that you have to enable it in.
Yeah.
Well, I used the universe. I did the thing where I just picked the Symbaroum universe, and I thought that would open up all of the existing content. I may have to do some research. I know it's in here because when you go to the marketplace and look up Symbaroum, it is there. The Advanced Player's Guide, the Adventure Collection, the Game Master's Guide. Oh, well, I don't have the Advanced Player's Guide. Maybe that's why. Well, no, Kevin should have the Advanced Player's Guide, and it should be loaded into this game. But Kevin, you say you can't access it either?
Yeah, I don't see it.
Like if you go to the marketplace,
I'm checking now on the website.
yeah, you should. Because I know when I was setting it up, I know I looked and I was like, okay, all of this is here. Because I think it was with your initial, when you bought into alchemy, it was in your initial.
No, I was just checking here, and I don't know how we can share back and forth. We can figure this out before session one if we need to. I do have the advanced player's guide because I got that humble bundle, that great alchemy humble bundle that went through.
Yeah.
So I've also got access to that if we can shuffle around somehow.
Yeah, well, it's on Alchemy. We just have to figure out how to get it into the game, and we'll figure that out. So you can play a hunter, like it shouldn't be an issue. I'll watch YouTube videos, do what I have to do. We'll figure out how to get it into the game.
Research.
Oh, I've been watching Alchemy videos for 2 weeks, trying to get ready for this. So Tim, what have you got in mind for your guy?
I am going to be a changeling rogue. Kind of dovetails well with Chad. He was abducted, and maybe I was left behind, but not with his family. But I grew up there in the South, and of course have reached the age where I'm not overly welcome with a lot of folks. I don't look like everyone else, and I'm ready to get out of there and looking for any crew that might be a little odd and welcoming to someone who doesn't always fit in. But I can look like I fit in when I need to.
Okay. And you're like, it looks like you've already got your Velcor.
Yeah, name is Velcor Aklaroth.
Already got art in there and everything.
That's about the extent of it.
And he's a treasure hunter.
For now, I'm not sure on that. I think there were some things in the Advanced Player's Guide that I was looking at that weren't available at this time on Alchemy.
Oh, okay.
But I hadn't fully settled on that anyway.
All right. Kevin, what did you have in mind?
I'm going to play a troll blacksmith. The little bit of reading that I've done, because the last month has been super crazy for me. That trolls tend to be like builders and craftsmen and stuff like that. Very usually associated with goblins and everything like that. So I figured they tend to be looked down upon because they're a monstrous race and everything. So I'm deciding if I want to play the big, dumb, lovable blacksmith character, or the upper crust British wearing a top hat kind of troll, and everyone's like, oh, it's a troll, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm a gentleman. So I haven't quite figured that out yet.
I reserve the right to critique your blacksmithing.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's pretty bold move, playing a game with a blacksmith and deciding to play a blacksmith.
Well, I'm just gonna have Google open I'm just gonna Google random blacksmithing terms to throw them in there and be like, hey, I know what I'm talking about. A quick Google says that you have to go into the content tab of the game and enable the purchase content. So that might...
Okay, so... All right, so here's what I'm going to do. Where's your character? There's your character.
Everyone get out.
I'm going to... How did I do that a while ago? So so this game was set up on your account. So it's got to be you that does that, but I think I've got to make you a GM. I can't do that because I'm not, I don't have you have to promote yourself to GM.
Hold on, okay, I have a content tab.
Okay, if you have a content tab, you're good. So if you pull up that content tab, like on the settings wheel under gameplay settings, there should be content or no, on edit game. There's content, and then like I see all this stuff, but I can't pick it because I haven't purchased any of it, but you have it.
Yeah, it just shows content universes Symbaroum. That's it. Let's see if I could find something else.
See, like I said, I thought the universe was all encompassing. I thought it covered everything, so I didn't even look at like attaching any other books.
Aha, I might have found it.
Either way, we know we're going to have the advanced player's guide. We'll figure it out. So knowing now, like what we've talked about, does anybody want to kind of, is there any way we can tweak this? Like there's already a semi-connection between Chad and Davery. Like you don't necessarily have to be 4 people who know each other and adventure together already, but there's gonna need to be some kind of a reason for, like, well, and I think I can, I think I can work it, but it would be better if you all didn't hate each other.
No guarantees.
We are PCs. We always hate each other.
I'm a changeling. I'll just change to whatever way they prefer.
So, okay, well, that being said, if you would like to, so like when you go into your character sheet there and you've got it where you can edit it, the first thing, of course, would be your traits. I don't know if you guys have picked all of that stuff out or not, but I don't know how far how in depth you got with your character creation before tonight.
Yeah, mine's done.
I'm seeing a couple of little issues with adding equipment, but I had made my character on a sheet of paper and was just transcribing it over to the here now. So I think I'm mostly good.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
basically going to create my character as a ranger, as a barbarian ranger right now, because then I can just have to tweak it very minorly once we get the advanced player's guide stuff figured out.
So have you done all of your attributes, Chad?
Yep.
Because when I open your character sheet, it's just 10.
Oh, I've done it on paper. I'm presently putting it into alchemy.
Oh, okay. Okay. So yeah, I mean, if you've already got your characters on paper, yeah, just go ahead and go about loading them into alchemy. And like I said, I think what did we just say we were doing? It's an 80 point buy, nothing lower than a 5.
Yeah, I went ahead and just did the array because it's the same number of points. I just went ahead and did the array, and because I figured I don't really know what I'm doing, I'll make it as simple as possible. And knowing Scott, this character's going to die in the first 3 sessions anyway. So on the next one, I'll do my.
Now hold on.
I'll do an array build then.
In all of the years of running the guild, I think I've only killed one player, one character.
You're not trying hard enough.
Yeah, I mean,
it was in Alien. I killed it was before we started streaming. It wasn't a stream game, but I killed Cranky Stanks, Colonial Marine. But I think that's the only character I've killed in all the time I've been at games here. I will say, like, just so you know what the attributes are, like your accurate is going to be your range rolls. That's going to be like your attack roll. quick is going to be your defense. Actually, your defense is whatever the attacker is using to attack you. That's what you use to roll your defense roll. So yeah, I mean, the wording is different from D&D. It's not the same. Like it's got some it's got its own thing going, which I love, but it's also it can be a little confusing. So yeah, if you just want to use the array that's in the book, then that's fine as well. I'm cool with that. Or if you want to do the point buy, then kind of optimize your character as you will. I'm not gonna I know Kevin is a min-maxer and likes to build game-breaking characters, but I don't know that Kevin can break this game.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, I was gonna say now I gotta put a little more effort into my backup.
He broke Pathfinder. He broke my Pathfinder campaign, but I don't think he can break this game. This game is gonna be this is a different animal altogether. This isn't Pathfinder. So, are there any questions? Is anything you want to? You have any questions that like character wise or anything that you want to discuss or even like talk amongst yourself, figure out ways that you're connected. Like and like I said, you don't have to be a band of 4 already going into this, but like I want you guys to have the autonomy to this is your story. Like I said, I don't even get to roll dice.
All right. So I feel like Torval is probably going to be fascinated by Kevin's troll, but not really know much about them. So, probably give him the hairy eyeball a lot, but not really know anything about them. And then with our changeling friend, from what I remember reading, the barbarians, they deal with changelings a decent amount. So I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. How's it going, neighbor? We may not be friends, we may not know each other, but I'm fine with you.
And if I remember, Tim, did you look into did you read up on changelings?
Yeah, some. I don't know how much I remember, but yeah.
So if I remember right, they were changelings are elves that have been raised outside of the elf community.
Yeah, and there's some mystic that happened to them that gives them some of their abilities. And yeah, they get dropped off with humans and such so that they can get the babies and take them north and use them in their armies for the abducted humans.
Yeah, I thought I remember reading that they're actually elves that have just been raised outside of that culture, and so it's a very interesting concept.
It works really well as a rogue because there's some really neat abilities that hopefully will be helpful.
And so, well, if Chad's playing a hunter, I guess you're going to have ranged attacks, correct?
Yep, polearm and marksman. So spear and bow.
And so we got a ranged, we got a healer. Tim, do changelings have mystic abilities? Will he have spells?
No, he's not focused on spells. He has the one of the abilities is shapeshifter, and so I can, with a successful low roll, look like others and use that to my advantage. But I'm going to be
kind of like a thief rogue type.
Yeah, he's a rogue, and yeah, he's going to be more kind of the assassin type.
Okay.
I'll get up close and personal and One of the cool things with the shapeshifter is when you have that as adept in combat, I can appear as one of our opponents, and whenever they go to hit me, they have a 50% chance of hitting their companions and not me.
Okay. Okay. And so, Kev, and what is going to be your guys, Kev? Like your main, like.
Pretty much, I guess, tanky. I'm just carrying around a giant hammer.
So now you. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say to Scott. So you said something about there needs to be a magician in the group, and so I made my character like I said. He had been injured. He'd been adopted. Kind of given over to the witch women and men to learn alchemy skills. But I made that specifically so in case no one else wanted to play a magician, I could just kind of shuffle him over and go, okay, he got more in depth into that, and I can switch around some talents and things before the first session and actually make him into a true magician if that's going to be really useful.
Now, and by all means, like, I'm not telling you to play a mystic, but because it is dangerous. Like, casting spells is a dangerous business in this game. It's even more dangerous in this than in DCC. I thought DCC was bad. Like, if you fail the roll in DCC when you cast a spell, then you got to deal with disfavor. But this, no matter what, you've got to deal with corruption. And it's a process to get rid of it. So if you don't want to deal with spells,
no, it's totally.
You know,
cool.
I'm not telling you have to. I'm just saying. I was just saying when we started, I was just like a balanced party. You know, a tank, ranged, mystic. You know, healing. You know, it's. But that's all games. That's D&D, Pathfinder. That's everything.
Yeah, no, like I said, it's not a problem. Like I said, I made the character specifically to be like, you know, I can either make him just an alchemist or I can make him, you know, little column A, little column B, and it works perfectly fine either way.
Maybe he's just dipping his toes into mysticism.
Yeah.
And like starting the research. Maybe that's why he was in Alberator.
I would never use dirty Alberator magic. Prius,
my
spit on him.
My alternate character is a hammer-wielding Ambrian priest, so, or Alberator priest, so, you know.
Yeah, Prius, I spit on your Prius.
So okay, so we've got a tank, we've got range, we've got stealth, and we've got healing and magic. So yeah, so a pretty good group. Kevin, have you made any headway on that at all, or are you still working on it?
I kind of gave up. I don't see it in the settings anywhere. That was a quick like 2-minute Google.
Okay.
So
all right, we'll deal with it. We can get
more.
on later this week and figure it out. Before we get back in, before we start the game, we'll figure out. Because I mean, if you go to the marketplace on Alchemy, the Advanced Player's Guide is there, and I know Kevin has it because when I was signed into his account, it was there. So we just got to figure out how to apply it to the game. But so are your characters loaded into Alchemy now? All your attributes and equipment and all of that, is that all?
I haven't done equipment yet, but I didn't know how much money we got to start with.
So equipment I was having problems with because like it's, at least the way I'm seeing it, it only has the specialized weapons and armor, not the generic versions. And also when I was trying to create them specifically, it wasn't letting me add those attributes. So I was having problems because I just have like a short weapon, light armor. You know, I don't have like the stiletto or anything like that. So I was having a little bit of issues with equipment.
Huh.
Yeah, I can see like armor has drop down options, but like weapons and items, there's nothing. I have to actually create an item.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
got the same issue.
Yeah, and like armor, the way I'm seeing it, it just has like witch robes, silk. It doesn't have wolfskin. It doesn't have light armor, with just the base light armor value.
Well, I'm not sure that there is a base light armor in that sense. They give stats for it, but I don't know that it really.
Yeah, that's how Symbaroum works. Is like the base short weapon is just a d6 damage with the short category, and that's all. But like a parrying dagger also adds balance. A stiletto also adds deep impact to those stats. But like a short weapon would just be small club, short sword, tiger claw.
A character usually starts with 5 Thaler in their pocket, as well as some basic equipment and also weapons and armor associated with specific abilities. So like your weapon, like the occupation you choose tells you what weapons and armor you have. Now here's an interesting thing I want everybody to talk about is your shadow. Describe your shadow. When if somebody can see your shadow, which is your aura, what do they see?
Mine is kind of a muted green with hints of amber around it.
For mine, I put the white yellow of sunlight through forest branches.
Of course you did.
Mine is swirling copper leaves limbed in silver.
Kevin, any ideas for your shadow?
He's a troll. His is black.
Wow.
Fully corrupted.
Somebody just added a warhammer.
Yeah, I'm trying to play around with the equipment.
Okay. So yeah, we can deal with your. We'll make sure your equipment is taken care of before we start the game. But yeah, you should have 5 Thaler, and then like you don't have to use that to buy your starting equipment. Like you're going to start with equipment.
Well, I was planning on using the stiletto for my primary weapon, since I'm all about getting in close and stabbing them deeply.
We've already talked about kind of personality and background. I don't think you're going to start out with any artifacts, since we're just starting the story. We'll see what happens as we go forward. So you all have your occupation, you all have your attributes, you all have your race, abilities and powers you've got in place, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, tentatively, yes. I may drop Medicus for this character and just give him like the healing magic spell or something like that. I'll look around again. I'll know before the first session.
Yeah, that's pretty much that's character creation. It's just a matter of make sure it's all set into alchemy. We're going to take a quick break and take a bio break, grab a drink, and then come back, and we're going to start the story. There's not going to be any dice rolls or anything like that. I'm just going to set up the story, and then when we come back and get into it, we'll be just going straight in. I'm going to do all the setup stuff tonight since it's 15 till 9. So we're going to take a quick break, just a couple of minutes, and we'll be right back, and we'll do the beginning of the Promised Land, which is the first chapter of the Copper Crown. Stick around with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Thank you for sticking around with us while we took a quick break. Uh, this is just going to be a quick little intro into our story and our campaign. Lost my background. I don't like it. Huh. Okay. Well, we're just going to move forward without that then. Try syncing it again. There we go. That's weird. Okay, and as I said, the streamer mode in Alchemy, I'm having a hard time figuring it out, but we're getting there. So we've got the new background in there for chapter 1, which is titled "Onwards to Yenderos." So for whatever reason you each have, you're looking to get across the Titans before winter shuts down the pass, as I said earlier. There's a camp that spans a vast area, vegetated by slender trees whose leaves have started to shift in autumnal nuances. About 40 wagons are parked in a random pattern, and between them, tents have been raised. Most of the tents are tiny and weathered, but a few of them look like small palaces made of cloth, evidently belonging to some of the nobles who have waited until the last moment to leave their estates. In a dozen places, fires are burning day and night. Some of them are surrounded by logs, others by more or less sloppily crafted benches. So anybody that was raised in Alberator and grew up here, you'll carry dark and haunting memories from the journey to get here. Like everything you've seen, your whole land, as I said, the ground is black. It's like everything got burned. What livestock still live are skin and bones. Did I lose Davery?